if you're there following a teacher or being so inspired by an artist and musician, and you want to know all about it, you want to know how did they get to that place of experiencing that depth, that magic that enabled them to create. You know, some artists or musicians or teachers that they create from their soul, and you want to understand, or you go to sacred places trying to tune in to that energy or read all about them. If this is you, this video is for you, because there's a missing key that will get you there. And I want to shine light on what this is. Let's dive right in. As more and more people come into the spiritual practices and personal development, we want to know how they did it. And we've been taught to look outside. We've been taught to learn, right? As small children, how do we learn? We look at our parents, we look at our siblings, we look how everyone else is doing. I remember having my eldest, he was probably 9 at the time. He participated in one of my events. And I was doing an in-person event, and everyone is writing. I think it was their blocks. I don't even remember what I asked them to write, but there is everyone in the circle sitting together, and he is writing it down as well. He has the ability to go inward, and he goes, but then he kind of looks over to make sure that he does it right. At such a young age, he looks over to make sure, is he doing it right? And I called that out. And there's nothing wrong with it. Again, we learned this. We learned that, how do I make it right? How do I fit in? So for me to learn something, I have to look at how someone else is doing. So many motivational speakers say the same thing, right? It's like, don't think of the how, think of the who. Who has done it already? Who can help you get there? Who can you learn from? This is very important. I'm not denying this truth. However, it's only a half truth. What I want to remind you of, and this is a short but sweet video, is that you do not need to outsource the sacredness and depth and magnificence and magic of your own life. In fact, you can't. And it's one of those traps of the mind, traps of the ego. Well, focus on this, or get this spiritual teaching, or tune into the energy of this person, and all valid. I myself, when I read a book, I'm very empathic. I can feel energy. I can feel the energy of the person who wrote the book, both when they wrote it and currently, if they are still alive. And even if they're not, I can sense the energy of the non-physical. So a lot of us empaths have those abilities. And it's like, I'm not just reading their words, I'm not just listening, I'm not just hearing like the piece of music that they created or looking at their art. I can feel them, and it feels so real. And that's beautiful. However, understanding that you have this sacredness of your own life, the sacredness of your experience, their lives were or are just as important as yours. Your individual experience is what matters. Your individual experience and embodiment, I want to say through experiment, is what allows God Life Source Consciousness to experience itself. It does that through you. And so when we put someone on a pedestal, a poet, an artist, a musician, a teacher, what sometimes happens is we deny the sacredness of our own experience. So get inspired, tune into what's possible, but bring it home to you. What does the embodiment of that look like in you? Because anything on the outside is really, it's like a color palette. They're different little ingredients. They're different, well, yes, it feels like ingredients or materials to create your own masterpiece. But if you just spend 2 long analyzing the ingredients, finding the right kind. I'm thinking of cinnamon. I'm obsessed with cinnamon, love cinnamon. And so, okay, well, this cinnamon is better than this cinnamon, right? It's like, are you going to make the freaking cake? Bring it inward. Make the masterpiece that is yours. Tune into the magnificence of you and allow yourself to experience the depth of that. Letting me know, what are you hearing me say below in the comments? What does you tuning into you, and on practical level, it may be like dedicating 5 minutes a day of just sitting with yourself. What wants to come through me? It may be after each book you read, or a piece of art or a piece of music, you take some time, ideally for it to be measurable, you commit to some time to really sit and process and digest it. And again, bring it back to you. So what could that step look like for you? Let me know below. And I thank you for being here. And I'm wishing you a very powerful week.